The twin suns of Xylaria burned in the sky, casting long, jagged shadows across the rocky plains. The planet was alive with strange colors, glowing fungi and towering crystal formations. Somewhere high above the ground, in a palace that seemed carved from black stone, Queen Thrissa observed her realm. Her eyes, sharp and cold, scanned the holographic displays in front of her. She was the ruler of the Zetrians, a race feared across countless star systems for their power, intelligence, and ruthlessness. Reports had arrived from her scouts. Humans, fragile and primitive, had landed on Xylaria. Thrissa's lips curled into a smile of amusement. Humans were weak, soft, and slow. They were supposed to be hunters on the galactic frontier, yet they had no armor that could match Zetrian shields, no ships that could outmaneuver her fleet, and no weapons that could pierce Zetrian exosuits. "They call them warriors," Thrissa said to her generals. Her voice was smooth like liquid glass, and each word carried authority. "Show me these so-called heroes. I want to see what these fragile creatures can do in battle." Her generals bowed, suppressing shivers. Even seasoned officers felt a sense of awe when in her presence. No one dared to challenge her, not even when the Queen laughed. Below, on a human scout ship orbiting Xylaria, Captain Elias Kane reviewed the mission data. His team of 12 soldiers had landed near the planet's equatorial plains 2 days ago. They had a simple goal: survey the planet's resources and map strategic points for future operations. They were not supposed to fight. Yet reports indicated encounters with alien patrols. Elias was not nervous. He had faced dangers before: hostile planets, rogue AI, and hostile alien species, but nothing quite like this. His team relied on his leadership and calm judgment. He trusted them, and they trusted him. "Captain Kane," said Lieutenant Mira Hayes, his second-in-command, "we've scanned unusual energy readings in Sector 9. It looks like a patrol, maybe larger than the last one." Elias studied the readings on the display. "Keep a safe distance. I don't want unnecessary contact unless we have to defend ourselves." "We are scouts first, soldiers second." Mira nodded, but Elias noticed the tension in her shoulders. The humans were far from home, and their supplies were limited. Every decision he made could be the difference between survival and death. Meanwhile, on the palace balcony, Thrissa's curiosity grew. She had instructed her generals to send patrols to find these human warriors. In her mind, it was a game. She would watch them fail. She would laugh, and then the humans would be crushed under Zetrian might. But as the holographic displays flickered to life, showing grainy images from surveillance drones, she tilted her head in interest. The humans were moving carefully, yet with confidence. Their small groups spread out in formation, scanning the terrain and communicating silently with hand signals and short-range devices. Thrissa raised an eyebrow. "Such coordination," she murmured. "Fragile creatures, yet they move like a single organism. Curious." Elias and his team reached the edge of a deep canyon. The walls were jagged, sharp, and covered with luminescent moss. The energy readings indicated the presence of multiple alien units nearby. Elias motioned for his team to stop. "Listen carefully," he said. "They are not just scouts. They might be testing us. We stay hidden, we observe, and we learn their patterns. No heroics, no unnecessary risks." "Understood?" The soldiers nodded. Mira whispered, "They don't even look like what the reports described. Their armor. It's different, almost organic." Elias gave her a faint smile. "Different doesn't mean better. Stay sharp." High above, one Zetrian scout moved silently on wings of iridescent energy. Its sensors picked up the human's heat signatures, transmitting the data directly to Thrissa. She leaned closer to the console, her long fingers tracing the movement patterns of the small human squad. "They are clever," Thrissa said. She did not usually praise other species. "They avoid my patrols, and yet they move closer to our territory. Brave. Or foolish." Back on the ground, Elias noticed the movement of alien drones scanning the canyon. He pointed to the shadows. "They're here, but they don't know we see them." The team prepared to move. Instead of retreating, Elias decided to test the humans' ability to strike without being seen. He whispered commands in a low tone, and each soldier executed their role perfectly. One unit created noise on one side of the canyon to distract the drones. Another unit set up a small electromagnetic pulse to briefly disable sensors. Elias and Mira led a small group to flank the patrol silently. The plan worked. The drones malfunctioned temporarily, giving the humans a chance to observe without being detected. Elias studied the alien formation, noting their armor, weapons, and movement speed. He took mental notes, already imagining ways to counter them if a real battle occurred. Back at the palace, Thrissa's laughter echoed through the chamber. "Pitiful," she said. "These humans think they can move in my territory and escape unscathed. Watch closely and you will see them crumble." But as she continued to watch, something strange happened. She noticed Elias giving signals to his team, the way they responded instantly and without hesitation. She noticed the humans improvising in real time, adjusting tactics to the environment. Her eyes narrowed. There was a strange resilience in them, a courage that was rare even among advanced species she had encountered. "I want them tested," she said finally, her voice still calm but now carrying a hint of intrigue. "Send the patrols to engage them, but I keep a close watch. I want to see more than just a defeat." On the ground, the humans returned to their ship for the night, setting up small energy shields and camouflage nets. Around them, Xylaria's nightlife began to awaken, glowing plants, distant roars of predators, and faint electrical storms. The humans were cautious but remained calm. Elias sat alone for a moment, reviewing the day's events. "They are stronger than expected," he muttered, more to himself than anyone else. "But no one is unbeatable. Not even them," Mira approached. "Captain, you seem almost worried." Elias shook his head. "Worried? No, but I am curious. And curiosity is a dangerous thing in battle. If they are testing us, we need to be ready for anything. Anything at all." Far above, Thrissa leaned over the balcony, gazing at the distant glow of the humans' camp. Her mind was no longer filled with laughter. It was filled with questions. How could such small, fragile creatures survive in her world? How could they adapt so quickly? And most importantly, how far would they go when pushed to the edge? She did not answer the questions, but she smiled faintly. The game had just begun, and for the first time in her long reign, she felt a strange kind of excitement toward humans. As the night deepened, the twin suns disappeared below the horizon, leaving the planet bathed in cold moonlight. The humans rested, but their minds were alert, ready for the challenges to come. And in her palace, Queen Thrissa prepared her next move, unaware that her mockery was slowly turning into something else: respect, curiosity, and perhaps even a hint of fear. The stage was set. Humans and Zitrians, observer and observed, were on a collision course. What started as laughter would soon become a test of courage, skill, and ingenuity, a test that would shape the reputation of humanity across the stars. And in the silent shadows of Xylaria, one human warrior slept lightly, dreaming not of fear but of victory. The morning sun crept over Xylaria, painting the jagged crystal cliffs with streaks of gold and violet. The air was crisp and charged with energy. Somewhere high above the planet, Queen Thrissa observed the humans again, her eyes narrowing as she studied their positions. The humans had moved closer to Zitrian territory overnight, and that curious resilience she had seen the night before lingered in her mind. "They are clever," Thrissa said to her generals, "but cleverness alone does not make them strong. Today, they will face the test." Her words were calm, but her tone carried authority that resonated throughout the palace chamber. She directed her elite patrols to engage the humans directly. The Zitrian drones were swift, equipped with energy blades, plasma rifles, and shields that could deflect almost anything a human weapon could produce. Thrissa expected an easy victory, a quick demonstration of Zitrian superiority. Meanwhile, on the ground, Captain Elias Kane had already anticipated this move. His team had spent the night analyzing the terrain and preparing for the possibility of encountering Zitrian patrols. They moved with care, using natural cover and shadows to their advantage. Every soldier knew their role. Every soldier trusted Elias. "Keep your formation," Elias whispered. "They will come for us. Remember, we are not just fighting. We are observing, learning, and adapting. Move when I move, strike when I strike, and never panic." Lieutenant Mira Hayes nodded, adjusting her scope on the energy rifle she carried. Her sharp eyes scanned the canyon walls for any movement. "Captain," she said quietly, "they're coming. Sensors are picking up multiple units, more than before." Elias looked toward the faint shimmer of energy in the distance. "Good. That will tell us a lot. Prepare yourselves, but don't fire yet. Let's see what they do first." The Zitrian patrol emerged, gliding silently over the canyon walls. Their armor reflected the sunlight in shimmering blues and purples, and their weapons hummed with dangerous energy. They advanced confidently, expecting humans to scatter or retreat. Elias studied them carefully. Notice their patterns. They assume we are weak. That will be their mistake. The humans had no chance in a direct confrontation. The Zitrians outnumbered them by 3 to 1, and their weapons could vaporize stone. But Elias did not plan a direct fight. He had something better. Strategy, creativity, and adaptation. The human advantages that no alien technology could anticipate. He signaled with a small hand movement. One squad created a distraction by setting off a series of small harmless energy charges that mimicked movement on the canyon floor. The Zitrians turned their attention toward the fake target, scanning for threats. Another human unit hidden in the jagged rocks fired precise shots at the alien drone's sensor modules. Sparks and energy surges flashed as the modules malfunctioned, confusing the patrol. Elias and Mira led the remaining soldiers along a narrow cliff path, moving silently behind the patrol. Queen Thrissa watched intently from the palace. At first, she chuckled at the humans' attempt to outmaneuver her forces. "Foolish creatures," she said, her voice echoing in the grand chamber. But her amusement faded as she saw their coordination, their timing, and their ingenuity. "They are more disciplined than I expected," she murmured, leaning closer to the display. Her fingers traced the movements of Elias and his team, almost as if she could feel their actions. "Interesting. Perhaps this will be worth observing." The battle began in earnest when the humans triggered a series of controlled energy bursts along the canyon floor, forcing the Zitrians to split their forces. Elias took advantage of the confusion. His soldiers used narrow ledges, high rocks, and sudden drops to move around the patrol undetected. They attacked in short, precise bursts, targeting weak points in the alien armor. Despite the humans' ingenuity, the Zitrians were formidable. One drone lunged at a soldier, energy blade raised. The human rolled aside, narrowly avoiding the strike, and returned fire, hitting a critical sensor on the drone's chest. Sparks flew and the drone collapsed, sending a surge of energy through its circuits. Mira's voice came over the comms, steady but tense. "We're outnumbered, Captain. We need to keep them off balance." Elias glanced around, assessing the battlefield. "Do not retreat. Focus on precision, not force. Make them waste energy. Make them predictable." The humans fought like a single organism. They communicated with subtle signals, executed maneuvers without hesitation, and adapted instantly to each Zitrian move. Where one soldier faced danger, another provided cover. Where one route was blocked, another path appeared. The humans' creativity, speed, and courage turned what should have been a massacre into a challenging fight. Queen Thrissa leaned closer to the holographic display, her lips pressing into a thin line. She had never expected to see such coordination from humans. Each move by Elias seemed calculated yet spontaneous, a combination of instinct and experience. She felt a flicker of something unfamiliar, respect and maybe a hint of admiration. The battle raged for hours. Energy beams scorched rock, debris flew in every direction, and the sound of clashing technology echoed through the canyon. Human ingenuity met Zitrian might in a clash that neither side had anticipated. At a critical moment, a Zitrian patrol managed to corner a small group of humans. Elias, seeing the danger, leapt from a ledge, rolling into position between his team and the aliens. He raised his rifle and fired, not to kill, but to disable the aliens' shields temporarily. Sparks flew, and the humans seized the opportunity to regroup. Mira's voice trembled slightly as she spoke into the comms. "Captain, they're adapting too. They're learning from our moves." Elias didn't answer immediately. He was already observing the next move, predicting the alien patrol's reactions. "Good," he said finally. "Then let's give them another lesson." Using a combination of traps, sudden flares, and precise fire, Elias led his team to push the Zitrians back. They did not win outright. The patrol eventually retreated, but they survived. More importantly, they gathered data, learned the aliens' patterns, and tested their own limits. Queen Thrissa exhaled slowly. For the first time, her calm demeanor shifted. Her amusement had faded completely, replaced by curiosity and astonishment. "They survive, and they adapt," she whispered. "Even when faced with overwhelming odds, they do not break. Remarkable." Her generals looked at her in surprise. Thrissa rarely praised other species, and never in front of her officers. "They are humans, Your Majesty," one of them said cautiously. "They are weak. They should have fallen." Thrissa shook her head. "No," she said firmly. "Weak they may be in body, but their minds are sharp. Their courage is unusual. This Captain Kane, he is unlike any warrior I have ever seen." Back on the ground, Elias gathered his team near the canyon edge. His face was serious, but there was a glimmer of pride in his eyes. "Today was not a victory in the traditional sense," he said, speaking to the group. "But it was a success. We learned, we adapted, and we survived. That is more than most could do in our position." The soldiers nodded, tired but exhilarated. They had faced a superior force and had come through it alive. For them, survival was proof of skill and courage, and it fueled a quiet confidence that would only grow stronger in the battles to come. As the humans returned to their camp, Queen Thrissa remained in her chamber studying the battle replay. Her thoughts were no longer on crushing the humans with brute force. Instead, she pondered their strategy, their creativity, and their remarkable courage. "They are not like the others," she murmured. "They are unpredictable. They are human." For the first time, the queen allowed herself a moment of fascination. She did not yet respect them fully, but she could no longer dismiss them as mere insects to be crushed under her heel. A storm was brewing, one in which humans and Zitrians would clash, and where courage and ingenuity would be tested like never before. The humans camped under the alien stars that night, exhausted yet unbroken. They had faced their first true battle on Xylaria, and had survived. And in the palace above, Thrissa plotted her next move, her laughter replaced by a careful, calculating intrigue. The game had begun in earnest, and in the minds of humans and aliens alike, a question lingered. Who would truly emerge victorious when strength met courage, and power met determination? The sky above Xylaria was a shifting canvas of pink, orange, and violet as the twin suns climbed higher. The jagged cliffs of the canyon shimmered faintly under the alien light. Captain Elias Kane and his team had returned to their temporary base after the first skirmish, but there was no rest. The humans were far from home, and every day on Xylaria brought new dangers. Elias walked among his soldiers, checking their equipment and making sure everyone was ready. "We survived the first encounter," he said, his voice calm but firm. "But surviving once does not make us invincible. The Zitrians will adapt, and so must we." Lieutenant Mira Hayes looked up at him, concern written across her face. "Captain, the next patrols could be larger. They've already begun studying us. I can feel it. They won't make the same mistake twice." Elias nodded. "Good, let them study us. We'll learn from them too. Observation is the first step in winning any fight." Meanwhile, far above the canyon, Queen Thrissa sat in her observation chamber, her eyes fixed on the holographic displays of human movements. The first clash had been unexpected. The humans had survived, adapted, and even forced her patrols to retreat in some areas. "They learn quickly," she said to her generals, her voice sharp and controlled. "They observe, adapt, and counter. Remarkable for such a fragile species." Her generals exchanged uneasy glances. No one had ever heard her speak with such cautious respect about another species. Thrissa continued, "Send my elite Obsidian Guard. This time we will see how they handle the best of Zytrian warriors." The Obsidian Guard was the pride of Xylaria. Each warrior had undergone years of training and enhancements. Their armor could withstand energy beams and plasma fire, and their weapons could tear through rock as if it were paper. They were fast, lethal, and disciplined. Elias sensed something had changed. The next patrol they detected was different, more organized, more aggressive, and moving with precision that suggested experience and training. He studied the readings carefully. "They've learned from yesterday," he said. "They are not just patrolling. They are testing us." The humans prepared quickly. Using a combination of camouflage, high ground, and quick movements, they positioned themselves strategically. Elias divided his team into 3 units, one to create a diversion, one to provide cover, and one to strike critical targets. The Obsidian Guard entered the canyon, their armor glinting in the morning light. They moved silently, scanning the terrain, their sensors alert for any movement. They were confident, expecting the humans to scatter or panic. But Elias had anticipated their arrogance. "Remember," he said quietly, "we are outnumbered, but we are not outmatched. Their technology is strong, but ours is smarter. Use your brains, not just your weapons. The first engagement began when a human scout triggered a small flare near the edge of the canyon, drawing the attention of the Obsidian Guard. The elite aliens advanced cautiously, expecting an easy capture. Instead, the humans executed a series of traps: narrow ledges collapsing, camouflaged pits, and electromagnetic pulses that temporarily disabled alien shields. Elias watched the battle unfold from a high vantage point. He directed his units with precise hand signals, each movement calculated. One soldier would draw the attention of an alien, while another struck at its weak point. Sparks flew as energy shields shattered, and the humans pressed their advantage. Mira moved alongside Elias, firing at vulnerable joints in the Obsidian Guard's armor. "Captain," she said, "they're faster than before. More coordinated. This is going to be harder than the first fight." Elias nodded. "Exactly what I expected. Adaptation. Let's see how well they handle our adaptations." The battle escalated quickly. One Obsidian warrior leapt onto a narrow ledge, attempting to cut off a human soldier. Elias reacted instantly, tossing a small energy charge that created a blinding flash. The alien stumbled, giving the human enough time to retreat safely. High above, Queen Thrissa observed every move. She was no longer amused. She was fascinated. She had never encountered a species capable of such rapid thinking, such teamwork, and such courage. Her lips pressed into a thin line as she studied Elias in particular. "That Captain Kane, he is exceptional," she murmured. "Even when cornered, he does not panic. He adapts instantly. He inspires his team. This is unusual." Back on the ground, the humans regrouped after their initial skirmish. Their movements were fluid, coordinated, and confident. They had learned the Obsidian Guard's patterns and weaknesses. Elias adjusted their strategy in real time, turning potential traps into advantages. The Obsidian Guard realized they were being outmaneuvered. Frustration flickered across their expressions. They were trained to be unbeatable, yet these humans, fragile, small, and unarmored, were forcing them into mistakes. Elias seized the moment. He signaled a coordinated strike. The humans split into multiple units, attacking from unexpected angles. They targeted sensors, power packs, and joint armor plates. Each strike was precise, forcing the Obsidian Guard to retreat and regroup repeatedly. Queen Thrissa's eyes widened. She had expected resistance, but not this. The humans were doing more than surviving. They were dictating the battle. She leaned forward, her fingers tapping the edge of the display. "They are not just surviving, they are controlling the fight." "Incredible," she said. "I must see more. I must understand them." Elias led his team deeper into the canyon, drawing the Obsidian Guard into terrain that favored human tactics. Narrow ledges, sudden drops, and crystal formations gave the humans opportunities to strike and retreat safely. Their small numbers worked to their advantage, allowing them to move faster and adapt more quickly than the larger, heavier Zitrians. At one critical moment, Elias faced an Obsidian warrior alone. The alien advanced with lethal speed, confident that its strength would overwhelm him. But Elias stayed calm. He dodged, feinted, and used the environment to his advantage. A well-timed energy charge disabled the alien's shield temporarily, allowing Elias to push it back. Mira covered him from a distance, keeping other Obsidian Guard units distracted. The humans moved as a single organism, each action reinforcing the other. The alien warrior, powerful and trained, was forced to retreat after repeated hits. High above, Thrissa's expression softened slightly. She had never seen a species so small and fragile exhibit such skill, creativity, and courage. "Humans," she whispered. "Perhaps they are more than I assumed." The Obsidian Guard retreated, not defeated but cautious. They had underestimated the humans, and now they were learning that brute strength alone was not enough. Elias and his team did not pursue them immediately. Instead, they observed, analyzed, and adapted their strategy further. "That was a success," Elias said, breathing heavily. "Not a victory yet, but a success. We've learned their patterns and they've learned ours. That knowledge will save lives in the next fight." The humans returned to camp, exhausted but exhilarated. Each soldier felt a quiet pride. They had faced the best warriors of Xylaria and survived, using nothing more than their intelligence, courage, and teamwork. Queen Thrissa remained in her chamber, her mind racing. She had faced many species, many challenges, and many warriors, but none had tested her patience and curiosity like these humans. She realized that brute strength, advanced technology, and experience were not always enough. Humans had something different: adaptability, courage, and ingenuity. They are unpredictable, she said to herself, and that unpredictability, that is dangerous. As night fell over Xylaria, the humans rested under the alien stars. Their hearts were tired, but their spirits were strong. They had survived their first encounter with the elite Zytrian warriors, and in doing so, they had earned something far greater: recognition in the eyes of one of the galaxy's most powerful leaders. And far above them, in her black stone palace, Queen Thrissa began to study them, not as pests to be crushed, but as a species to be understood, observed, and perhaps feared. The battle was over for now, but the war of wits, courage, and strategy had only just begun. Humanity had proven it could stand against the mightiest warriors, and Xylaria itself would soon remember the name Captain Elias Kane. The air above Xylaria shimmered with heat and energy as the twin suns rose, bathing the jagged canyon in harsh light. Captain Elias Kane stood at the edge of the ridge, observing the distant glow of the Zytrian command hub. His eyes narrowed. Today would be different. Today, the humans would not just defend themselves. They would take the fight to the enemy. "Our mission is clear," Elias said, addressing his small strike team. "We are going in to prevent a larger assault on our colony. We must hit the command hub and disable their control systems. Stealth and precision are our weapons. Do not engage unless absolutely necessary." Lieutenant Mira Hayes checked her gear one last time. "Captain, this place is heavily guarded. The Obsidian Guard will be there, and there may be more we haven't detected." Elias nodded. "That's why we move smart, not fast. Remember what we learned in the canyon. Every movement counts. Every decision matters." The humans advanced carefully, sticking to the shadows and using the alien terrain to their advantage. Narrow pathways, sharp crystal formations, and high cliffs provided cover. They moved silently, communicating with hand signals and short-range comms. Each step was deliberate, calculated. Above them, Queen Thrissa observed with fascination. The humans were bold. No other species dared infiltrate Zytrian territory so close to the command hub. She leaned forward, her fingers brushing the console. "Captain Kane," she murmured, almost with admiration, "you are brave. Perhaps too brave for your own good." The first obstacle appeared quickly, a Zytrian patrol moving in a tight formation, scanning the area for intruders. Elias signaled his team to spread out, creating decoys and distractions. Small energy pulses disabled some patrol sensors while the humans moved around undetected. One patrol member lunged at a hiding human, only to be caught in a narrow trap that sent him tumbling into a crystal formation. The humans pressed forward, encountering small squads of the Obsidian Guard. Each encounter tested their courage, skill, and teamwork. Elias led from the front, but he never exposed himself recklessly. Instead, he used the environment, collapsed ledges, sharp rocks, and alien energy pulses to level the field against the superior alien strength. Mira's sharp eyes detected a hidden energy turret aimed at their path. "Captain, turret ahead." "We can't go around, it's too exposed." Elias studied it quickly. "We won't go around. We'll go through. Create a distraction on the left, I'll take the right." Timing is everything. The plan worked perfectly. The distraction drew the turret's fire, while Elias and a small team disabled its power core with precise energy charges. Sparks flew and the turret went silent. As they approached the command hub, the resistance grew stronger. Obsidian Guard warriors moved with lethal precision, firing energy bolts and striking with energy blades. The humans fought like a single organism, each soldier covering the other, adapting instantly to every threat. At the heart of the hub, Elias faced one of the top Zytrian generals in single combat. The alien was faster, stronger, and armed with deadly weapons. But Elias remained calm. He dodged, feinted, and used every advantage the terrain offered. With a well-timed energy pulse, he disabled the general's shield long enough to force a retreat. High above, Queen Thrissa watched the battle unfold in real time. For the first time, her expression changed from curiosity to awe. She had never expected a human to hold his ground against one of her elite warriors, much less force them to retreat. "They are extraordinary," she whispered. "Even when outnumbered and outmatched, they adapt. They fight with courage I did not anticipate. Perhaps they are worthy opponents." The humans completed their raid, disabling communication systems and control nodes. They did not linger to celebrate. Retreat was their priority. Yet their success was undeniable. They had struck at the heart of Zytrian operations and lived to tell the tale. Elias and his team returned to their camp, exhausted but triumphant. The soldiers shared quiet smiles and relieved laughter. They had faced the mightiest Zytrian warriors, and they had prevailed, not through brute force but through strategy, courage, and determination. Queen Thrissa remained in her chamber, her mind racing. The humans had proven themselves in ways she had never imagined. Perhaps, she said softly, there is more to these creatures than I understood, more than any other species I have encountered. The stage was set for a new understanding, a new respect, and the realization that humans were not just survivors. They were warriors capable of shaping the fate of worlds. The night over Xylaria was quiet, the jagged cliffs glowing faintly under the twin moons. Captain Elias Kane and his team returned to their camp, weary but alert. The raid on the Zytrian command hub had been successful, but the humans knew this was only the beginning. We did it, Mira said quietly, adjusting her gear. We struck at the heart of their operations and survived. But what now? Elias studied the horizon. Now we show them what humans are capable of. We have earned their attention. The question is, will they respect it or fear it? Meanwhile, in the palace, Queen Thrissa stared at the displays of the human raid. She had seen countless species rise and fall before her. None had survived what she had witnessed today, and none had inspired a reaction quite like this. They are not weak, she said to herself. They are resourceful, courageous, and adaptable. Perhaps too adaptable to ignore. She summoned her generals. These humans, she said, her tone deliberate, have proven themselves. They have intelligence, courage, and teamwork beyond what I expected. They are not insects to crush, they are remarkable. Her generals exchanged cautious looks. Praise from Thrissa was rare and dangerous, and her words carried weight beyond their understanding. Your Majesty, one ventured carefully, do you mean to spare them? Thrissa's eyes narrowed. I mean to understand them. To see what they are capable of. Let them know that we are aware of their strength. Respect is a powerful tool, and perhaps it is what they deserve. The next morning, Elias received a comm from Zytrian forces, a summons to meet the Queen. There was no threat, only a directive. The humans were cautious, aware that any interaction could be a trap. Yet they knew this was an opportunity. They entered the palace, weapons sheathed but hands ready. The grandeur of the black stone halls was overwhelming, yet Elias kept his focus. Queen Thrissa awaited them, her presence commanding and alien. You humans, she said, her voice smooth but firm, have proven yourselves worthy of observation. I expected weakness and fear. Instead, I see courage, ingenuity, and skill. Captain Kane, you have led your team admirably. Elias bowed slightly. Thank you, Your Majesty. We fight to survive and to protect our people. We are not here to boast, only to do what must be done. Thrissa's gaze softened. You have earned respect, something few species achieve in my lifetime. Your courage and adaptability are rare. The galaxy should take note of humans, for you have something Zytrians do not. The ability to inspire and endure against overwhelming odds. The humans exchanged glances. Respect from one of the galaxy's most feared leaders was more valuable than any victory on the battlefield. Elias nodded. We will continue to prove ourselves, not through words but through actions. Thrissa smiled faintly. Actions speak louder than words indeed. Remember this. Strength is not always measured in technology or numbers. Sometimes it is measured in courage, in teamwork, and in the will to survive. As the humans left the palace, they felt a sense of accomplishment, unlike any other. They had faced impossible odds, fought with ingenuity and courage, and earned the respect of one of the galaxy's most formidable beings. The tale of their bravery would spread far and wide. Humanity had proven itself not just as survivors but as warriors capable of shaping the fate of worlds. And in the distant stars above Xylaria, Queen Thrissa watched, no longer laughing at humans, but observing them with a newfound respect and cautious fascination. For the first time, she understood that strength alone was not enough. The humans had something she had never fully appreciated before. The unbreakable spirit of warriors who refused to yield. No matter the odds, the humans returned to their colony, battle-worn yet unbroken, carrying with them the knowledge that courage, ingenuity, and determination were powers greater than technology or sheer numbers. And in the quiet of the alien night, Captain Elias Kane looked up at the twin moons and knew this was only the beginning. Humanity had earned its place among the stars, not through fear but through respect, skill, and heart.